Hi all! In this video, we're going over topic 13, lesson 1, solid figures and nets. Let's look at some vocabulary first. Our first vocabulary word is polyhedron. It's a three-dimensional figure that is made up of a flat polygon-shaped surfaces. Let's look at what that would look like. For example, let's use a hexagon. Let's say I have a hexagon, a six-sided figure, and I draw it out. Now to make it three-dimensional, we have to draw some lines out. Each point gets a line. As I like to tell my kids, I'm not a machine. Therefore, it's not going to be perfect. However, I can do my best. You can see that we have a hexagon in the front and a hexagon in the back. Each face, which is the surface, is made up of a polygon. So, right here would be a face. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 faces on this shape. We also need to know what an edge is. An edge is where two faces intersect or meet. For example, this face and this face meet right here to form the edge. And the last thing we need to know with this shape and with our solid figures is what a vertex is. And the vertex is the point where several edges meet. For example, I have an edge here, and an edge here, and an edge down below. Where they meet would be my vertex. Let's look at some different types of polyhedrons, or solid figures. One type would be a prism. A prism is a polyhedron with two identical parallel polygon-shaped bases. Now, please understand, being human, I can't draw everything exactly the same, but I'm going to do my best. First, let's look at a rectangular prism. You can see that the word rectangular prism has a base word of rectangle, so we know that it's going to have a rectangle in it. If I have my rectangle, and I want to draw my lines out, and I want to draw my lines down, you can see that I have a rectangular face in front, and I have a rectangular face in back. I also have rectangles for the side faces. Let's look at another one. Maybe we have a pentagonal prism. You can see that the root word in pentagonal is pentagon, or a five-sided shape. Again, I draw my lines to give it a three-dimensional look, drawing my edges, creating new surfaces. This gives me a pentagon in the front and a pentagon in the back. Let's look at our last type of prism I'm going to show you today. That is a triangular prism. Triangular prisms have triangle in their base, so you can see that it's going to be a triangle. If I draw a triangle, and I draw lines down, notice I do dotted lines behind. It gives it the three-dimensional look. So again, I have a triangle on the top, a triangle on the bottom, both my bases, with rectangular sides. Let's look at yet another type of polyhedron. Pyramids. A pyramid is a polyhedron that has one base. You noticed in the last shapes we had two bases. Let's look at a triangular prism or pyramid. Now, a triangular pyramid is going to have the base of a triangle. And I'm going to have a dotted line across the back. This base forms triangular faces. But you can see that the base is a triangle. I'll color it in so maybe you can see it a little better. The base is a triangle. Now what about a rectangular prism pyramid? A rectangular pyramid has the root word rectangle, so I'm going to draw a rectangle. I should have made these lines dotted, but that's okay. You can see that my base in this shape is a rectangle coming up to one point. And our last type of pyramid that I'm going to show today is a hexagonal pyramid. Now a hexagonal pyramid has the root word of hexagon in it. Therefore, my base will be a hexagon. Lines coming up. It got a little off, but that's okay. Still, you can see the base is a hexagon. Let's look at some more solid figures. My next example is a cylinder. A cylinder has two circular bases that are parallel and identical. I'm going to do my best to make them identical. I start with a circle at the top. I can bring my lines down and draw a circle on the bottom. You'll notice it looks like a can. We've all seen cans before. Another shape is a sphere. A sphere has no base, and every point on a sphere is the same distance from the center. So if we draw a circle to make it look like a sphere, we curve the inside. And again, if I could draw a perfect circle, it'd be exactly the same distance from the center point, which would be the center here. All sides would be exactly the same. Our last type of solid shape we're going to talk about is a cone. A cone has one circular base, and the points on the circle are joined to one point outside of the base. So, I have a circular base, and it's going to join to one point outside, giving us our cone. Next in this lesson, we're going to go over what a net is. Not like a fishing net, but net, which is a plane figure, when folded, makes a solid. Now, what does that mean? Let's say I had a cube. And I wanted to unfold this cube. Well, one way I could unfold it would be like such. And you can see each one of these squares represents a face on this cube. Now, cubes can be unfolded multiple ways. Another way to unfold a cube is like this. Again, you can see that each one of these squares represents a face. Let's look at a couple more nets. What if we had a rectangular prism? Let's see what this shape would look like. Well, I can see that I have a large rectangle here. That would be like this face. Behind it is a smaller rectangle. In front of it is another smaller rectangle, followed by the base, another face, of a larger rectangle. We also have our two sides. This is the net of a rectangular prism. You can see the two shorter sides, the rectangular bases, and the two small sides. But what if we had a triangular prism? Remember, we had a square pyramid, or a rectangular pyramid. Let's see what that would look like. We have to start with our square. We have our pyramid. Like such. Well, I can see that there's a square base. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles that come off of each base. That makes our net for this shape. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thank you, and have a good day.